If you have a pair of AirPods, there's a good chance you're not using them to their full potential. I'm always amazed by how many people I talk to that have and use AirPods every day and just have absolutely no idea about some of these amazing features. So in this video, I want to show you 25 of my favorite hidden features and some of my top tips for the AirPods Pro 2. Now, some of these are specific to the newest AirPods Pro 2, but many of them are also applicable to older generations of AirPods, as well as other Beats devices too, such as the Beats Fit Pro. So let's just get right into it. The first one is audio sharing, which is great if you're on a flight and you're watching a movie and you want to watch it with a friend, because let's be honest, watching a movie on a flight with a friend is way better than watching one alone. But rather than each having one earbud in and then your other ear hears the jet sounds and you have to turn the volume way up to compensate, it's way better if you could both have AirPods that have active noise cancellation to block everything around you and give you a more immersive experience. But in order to do that, you have to go and enable audio sharing, and you can do this on an iPad, an iPhone, whatever. And in order to do that, you just go from the top left, swipe down, so you have your playback controls, and on the bottom right, you see that little icon that looks like the AirPods. If you tap on that, you can say share audio and connect to another pair of AirPods. So that's a great way that they're both synchronized. The second one on this list is using your AirPods Pro as an AirTag. We've seen the AirTags, super popular, great way to find or otherwise not lose your keys, your backpack, things like that. Well, the new AirPods Pro 2 have a really similar feature. In fact, not only do they have a little speaker on the bottom so you can make them chirp and find them, but they also have the same technology on the inside so that in the Find My app on your phone, you can actually use it to navigate and find where they are. It'll point to them and you can go over and find them. But in addition to that, they're also using the Find My network. So if you forgot them on a bus or at somebody else's house, you can look on the map and find out where they were last connected to any iPhone around them and find out where your AirPods are. The next one is called Live Listen, which is meant to be an accessibility feature for anybody who has hearing impairment, but could also be a useful feature for anybody else. But essentially, what it does is instead of transparency mode playing back sound from your earbuds, it plays back from the microphone on your phone. And the benefit here is you have your phone's processing abilities to essentially focus more on voices. So for people with hearing impairments, it should be easier to hear people in a conversation. But if you don't have a hearing impairment, it could also be useful to hear in any situation where you need to hear some voices and it's just too difficult to hear them, whether you're too far away or whatever the situation might be. I mean, we've all seen the blogs that say it's for spying. Don't use these for spying, but there might be some actual useful situations. If you can think of them, definitely leave a comment below. Moving on to the next one, this is adaptive transparency, which is a new feature on the AirPods Pro 2. And the idea here is if you are wearing these and you have transparency so you can hear like things around you, and then somebody just drops like a piano next to you, it's not going to blow your ears out. Instead, it's going to protect you with a decibel limiter. I think it's around 80 or 85 decibels. And so that's good for your hearing. But rather than just using it for that, you can also use these in any environment that's already higher than that. So it'll reduce, say, a concert or a loud bar or something like that, while still being able to hear all of the details of the voices and the sounds around you. Really cool feature. I mean, you're gonna look like a weirdo wearing these in a bar. I wouldn't recommend that. But again, there are some situations where it would be nice to hear everything around you without ruining your ears with a really loud sound. Next up, we have something for those who are trying to meditate or relax or fall asleep while wearing their AirPods. I know a lot of people like to, use active noise cancellation, and then maybe they want to block even more sound by drowning it out with some white noises. Rather than using YouTube for that, AirPods actually have their own built-in feature for background sound. So if we swipe down from the top right on your iPhone, on the bottom, we have hearing. If you don't see this, you can actually go into your settings, go to control panel and enable, this is called hearing. So if we tap on hearing, you can see background sounds are currently off. We can turn them on and we can choose from quite a few, maybe 5 or 6 different sounds here, including a dark noise, a bright noise, ocean, rain, a stream, something like that. So if you want to fall asleep and listen to some white noise and you like wearing your AirPods, that could be a great thing to do there. Now, as a side note, I know we're not done with this video yet, but if at any point I don't mention a feature that you really like, go down, leave a comment, let me know what your favorite features are with the AirPods, and while you're down there, be sure to go over and click that subscribe button. And then of course, I bet you didn't think I was going to say this one, the ability to connect to Android and other devices. This one I think goes without saying, but I'm always surprised. A lot of people don't realize that AirPods are like, they're Bluetooth, right? So they connect to anything that uses Bluetooth. So an Android phone, a Windows laptop, a smart TV. And in order to do that, you just press and hold the button on the back until the little light on the front starts flashing white. You'll hear a little dinging sound from the speaker if you have the AirPods Pro 2. And now they are in pairing mode, so you can set them up with any other device out there. Now, speaking of that, another cool feature is the ability to connect to an Apple Watch. And maybe this is more of an Apple Watch feature than an AirPods feature, but essentially here, I like to go for runs without my phone. It's just better to not carry like a big iPhone 13. So running without a phone is great because the watch has offline Spotify, offline Apple Music, and a lot of other apps as well. So connect your AirPods to your watch, go for a run, listen to music, and you don't have to carry anything with you. The next one is less of a feature, more of like a tip that I would recommend, and this is for the fit, the comfort, the active noise cancellation. For me, sometimes I try, and this is not a sponsor by any means, but I'll try like some foam tips. So these are from Comply. These are actually for the Galaxy Buds, but they make them for AirPods as well, and it's a great way to kind of isolate sound around you. They're a little bit more stiff and rigid than the silicone tips on the AirPods, and for me, like the left AirPod always works its way out, and I find that foam tips do a better job of holding it in my ear. Now, I kind of already mentioned this next feature when I showed you how to enable white noise, but this is the hearing feature, which again is on your iPhone, and if you go there, it'll actually show you what the decibel level is of the music playing through your AirPods, so you can make sure that you're not playing it too loud and you're not damaging your ears, and I just think that's a really great feature, so you don't end up someday having to use these as accessibility features if you can protect your ears now. The next one is really, really powerful. This is announcing messages with Siri. So on your iPhone, if you go into notifications, you go to announce, you go to with headphones, and you enable that. That way, when you're wearing these and your phone is in your pocket and you get a text message, it'll tell you, it can actually read the entire text message to you. And the AirPods have a lot of really cool features hidden in the settings, which are now nicely organized in one spot. So I'm gonna kind of rapid fire these right now. If we go into settings on our iPhone and tap on AirPods Pro 2, as you see right there, which is on the latest iOS, we'll see, first of all, we can control what is each control does. So press and hold left and right. And this doesn't have to be just Siri or toggle between transparency and ANC. Instead, you could say maybe the left earbud toggles between ANC and transparency, and maybe the right earbud toggles between off and transparency. So if you ever want to like go for a run and not hear everything around you, but not hear any wind noise, maybe you just want that off, or you could toggle between all three with either one. So you can really customize that however you want. Next up, we have an ear fit test. So when you first get these, if you're worried about, especially like if you have foam tips and you're like, I don't know if they are the right fit, how do I know? You can go and do the ear fit test. I've never had a problem with that, but it's there if you want it. Then we have adaptive transparency. Like I said, this is where you can enable that. I already told you what it does. Super useful feature. We have automatic ear detection. We can choose what this actually connects to. This is one of the features I wanted to show you. So if you have like multiple Apple devices, you can choose like connect to this phone automatically with the AirPods, or you can say connect to this iPhone only if it was last connected to this iPhone before you put it away. So that way you don't have to worry about, oh, which Apple device did this connect to? It'll just always connect to this phone if you wanted to. This one's really cool. This is kind of a newer one here. Personalized spatial audio uses your infrared sensors on your Face ID for a newer iPhone and essentially scans your ear and allows you to get like a more personalized experience, specifically with spatial audio, but also with your EQ. Your overall experience is more catered to your own ear geometry. It's very interesting how they do that. I'm not a big spatial audio fan, but it's there and it's really a cool feature if you want to use that. The next feature is the ability to choose the microphone that is actually being used when you're on a phone call. Going down to accessibility, even if you don't have hearing impairments, there are a lot of cool features in here. For example, the press speed. If you find that you can't press fast enough and you want to press like double press a little bit slower, you could tap slower or slowest. The press and hold duration similarly can be the same thing. And kind of tying in with that, the third one is on the bottom. You can change the duration of time between swipes that it actually registers for changing volume, because the new AirPods Pro 2 do have that swipe feature to control the volume, like I said. We also have the ability to follow your iPhone or your head when you're listening to spatial audio. So spatial audio is in itself a really cool feature where you hear everything around you, and like your music's going to sound, or your movie or video, whatever you're watching, is going to sound a little bit more like it's coming from one area. And if you turn your head, it plays more in one ear or the other. It's a cool feature. Personally, like I said, I don't really use it. I'm not a big fan of 360 audio, but for gaming could be really useful. For movies, it'd be cool. So even though these don't have a proper EQ, which trust me, I really wish they did, and instead you have to go to each individual individual app and EQ there, you can kind of have a little bit of a workaround, and it's kind of like almost like if you just want one thing out of this, maybe you can find it in this setting right here. So if we go to accessibility and then we go down to audio accessibility settings, we can go to headphone accommodations, we can enable headphone accommodations, really going down this rabbit hole here, and then we can choose if we want to tone audio for a balanced tone, a vocal range, or for brightness. So that's kind of the only way you can really equalize these, and you can choose like soft, slight, moderate, or strong versions of each one of those. So if you just wanted to have like a little bit more brightness, maybe that would be a good way to do that here. And again, you can choose if you want that only for phone, media, or for transparency mode. So not an EQ, like I said, definitely not a proper EQ, but it's kind of a workaround that can help you out a little bit in getting that right there. You can also enable active noise cancellation with only one AirPod in. That really is weird for me, so I don't really see a situation where I would ever want to do that, but perhaps if you couldn't hear entirely out of one ear, then that would still be a nice feature to have. Additionally, we have hands-free Siri. I use this all the time when I'm working out. This is already natively on here and it's set up by default. So if I'm working out, I could just tell Siri to control songs or set a timer and never have to like take my phone out and, you know, set it on a bench and drop a weight on it or whatever. I could just leave it over on the side or in my pocket and just like, you know, go through my workout, set timers. So easy. I love doing that. We can also, with the new AirPods case here, we can charge with different devices. So this is kind of a cool feature here. You can charge with obviously Lightning on the bottom or a wireless charging pad. We already know that. But this also has MagSafe. So if you have a MagSafe charger, this will magnetically stick to it, like in your car, on a desk, whatever. And that's a great way to charge where you know it's lined up properly. And you can also charge with an Apple Watch charger. But the next feature I want to mention is actually when it's charging, if it's sitting on a charging pad and you're wondering how charged is it and is it actually charging, like is it in the right location on there, you can just double tap the case and it'll blink either a yellow or like orangish light to tell you the battery's not fully charged, red light if the battery's dead, or green light if the battery is fully charged. So you don't have to open it up and pair with your phone. It just does that automatically. The next one is the ability to charge your AirPods on the back of an Android phone. So iPhone still can't do this, but if you have a friend with an Android and your AirPods are almost dead, you could say, look, man, I'm so sorry that I make fun of your phone. It's actually kind of better in this aspect. Can you please give me some juice on my AirPods? And in a couple minutes, you should have, you know, a reasonable amount of time that you can listen to on your AirPods. Okay, so that's it. Those are the top 25 possibly hidden features on the AirPods Pro 2. Let me know which ones you already knew about, which ones you didn't know about, and if there are any other features that you really like about your AirPods that maybe I didn't mention in this video. If you found it helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm Mike O'Brien. Thanks for watching. See you next time.